Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Smoke and Mirrors. This episode, wow, is clearly not brought to you by Enunciation, but may have been brought to you today by Binary Thought. Binary Thought. It's the reason that there's boys and girls, and the reason that there's even black people at all. Binary Thought. Also brought to you by lips. They're the skin that covers your teeth. And if you really think about it, the amount of work that we ask for those muscles to do, I don't know that there's another muscle on your body as activated throughout the day if, in fact, you are a raconteur. Lips. And now, shit, I forgot to have a song. But here comes one. And now, here comes a song about the shadows and the dark things we see. And sometimes you know that they're brought by light. And we are here to do other things than make up ridiculous non-staccatorial songs. Okay, that's enough. All right. And now here they are, your hosts, the audacious Carlos Kareem Wingrove. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Hey, it's 420 some place. Oh, good Lord. Welcome welcome to a Wake and Bake edition of Smoke and Mirrors. This this is the kind of show that even as a person who is pushing their 50s and pushing gently at this point, pushing gently, that you hope maybe your parent chooses not to watch because it is 10 something in the morning Pacific. We do this. You know what it is. You know what it is. If I'm here this early or not at 4:20 on the you know what's going to happen. You mean that it means there's somebody from the East Coast or from London or from Ibiza from someplace, right? So today East Coast. We're going East Coast. Hey yourself. Hey girl. Hey, it's good to see folks in the morning. We love seeing folks in the morning. Uh, so we're going to see some more folks this week. Uh, by this week, I obviously mean next week because the week is over and time is irrelevant and I can't tell it anymore. So Tuesday, July 21st. There's been a change. So I said yesterday, Wednesday. What I meant was Tuesday. It says it right there in the runner. You can see it. You can read it. It says Tuesday, July 21st. Esperanza Turvalon Garrett is going to be right here, provided that everything is good. We are still hoping for health and healing for her and her foot and her ligaments, and God bless her horse. Uh, Coming up Wednesday, that'll make more sense when we get there. We're not there. It's not for you. Coming up Wednesday, July 21st, going to be here with the real hijinks. Now, come on now. I like saying his name that way. Uh, I like his voice, and I like the tenor of his comedy and the way that he carries himself. We're going to be talking about masculinity in this here era, and what the usefulness of it is or ain't in comedy any longer. In the wake of the Predators and such having their Netflix specials being taken off the specials, and Dave Chappelle spending his 8 minutes degrading black women. So we're going to talk about that. And on Thursday, July the 23rd, going to be here with Kat Hollis, one of the key organizers of the PDX stripper strike that has been getting national attention. We will be talking about the role of black women on the front lines of all of the works that continue to be disregarded, treated as though they are not works, are not jobs. are unable to unionize. This would include your strippers, your dancers, your sex workers, your domestic workers, and your field workers. Ironically, also jobs associated with slavery. So we're going to talk a bit about that on next Thursday. And you know what it is? It's begging time. I'm not begging. Listen, do what you want to do. Some people are patrons of the arts. Does that make them the cooler people? Only in my estimation. If you wanted to be one of these cool people, listen, what I'm saying is invest in the things that matter to you. Um, the more patrons we have, especially if you're doing like an easy level, $5 a month, it's nothing. What that means is this: you're not going to see the really good super duper special shows and then feel like you got to throw down 10 because you saw that one. It's five a month. It's right out of your bank account. It just disappears. You don't even know. And then you get your name in the runner looking all famous like all those people there, right below there. What visually impaired people? What people who are only listening? You don't know who I'm talking about? Well, I'm talking about Kristen. I'm talking about Michael. I'm talking about Renice. I'm talking Tracy. I'm talking Natalie, Tarika, and I am talking about Juliet. These are the people who went to patreon.com/ smoke and mirrors CCB and became patrons. That thing that you see Tracy holding in their hand right there, why, that is a trading card. Who doesn't want a comedy trading card? Get with it. I mean, and this is quality stuff too. This is not the cheap bullshit. This is like those playing cards that your tia used to have in when she had a poker set. My tia, I guess, had poker chips, and they had those really 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 good cards made of the good hard plastic for when they were guests because they were going to be so borracho, and somebody was bound to spill something on the cards, and you didn't want them ruined, and so you could just waka, and shake it. Look at, watch this. You don't believe me? I know you don't believe me. And you see, you think I'm a liar. I'm not a liar. This is not Trump. This is science. This is a hard card. It is hard. It is. You hear that? Look at this. This is liquid. Look at that. Watch this. Oh, right in there. Watch this. Shake, shake, shake. Oh, oh, it's perfect. This could be the one that you get. I could send that right to you if you become a patron, or don't. It's whatever. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. As you know, this will always be for free, for freezies, as long as Zuckerberg provides us a platform to do it that way. And all I ask is that you share it with a friend. Don't bogart. Don't bogart. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I hear the Colorado in my voice every once in a while. I hear it in my accent. It is tattooed upon my tongue when I say words like tew, tew. In the same way that I hear the East Coast trapped in my mouth when I say coffee or quarter, because evidently that's not how other people say it. It is pointed out to me when I say it. That's the only reason I know, and because I am on the West Coast. The thought I was having yesterday, remember, if you were here before I trailed off and started talking about that there was a mystic wasp situation. Uh, Go look at it if you want to get into that. The thing, though, that I lost the trail of that I was getting to, and it's a true question. Have you noticed that you smell different since quarantine? I don't know what is happening, but I think my body is trying to trick me into thinking that there are other people around because I've been in isolation for so long. So it's just releasing pheromones that I'm like, who the fuck is that? It's not like bad. It's new. It's distinct. It is not, and it's not even like middle age smell. It doesn't even smell like old people. It just it smells like I don't like trapped or something. Is that a smell? Is that a smell? Trapped by Calvin Klein. Trapped by Ivanka. They would sell it. They would sell it right at the desk. He would put that right there on the desk, and Ivanka would be there just selling you some Trapped, and we could all smell like old person armpits together. Um, anyway, that's what I was thinking about yesterday. I don't know. Today, though, hopefully, I'm going to be thinking some thunks that are worth more than that, deeper than that, take us in different places. The reason that I wanted to think these thunks with the person that I am speaking with, that who you are going to see, who we're going to chat with today, is because we had thought some thunks, we had thunk some things when we were together thinking on myelin and melanin. And what the thought, wow, it is early in the day for me to be doing this with you. Uh, the thought that I thunk, that's English, I make words, was that they are a raconteur. Uh, and I love chatting with people who are loquacious and who have a thing to say and who have an opinion and a position, and especially if that position happens to be one rooted in pro-blackness, in pro-matriarchy positionality, and a true inclusivity. And so, with that, I would like to bring to you my new friend, lecturer of African American Studies at Harvard University, Dr. Linda Chavers. Please welcome to the show. Y'all are so nice to my guests. Thank you. Hey, what's up?
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you? Well, you already said you said a lot.
I'm.
So
Did I say some things? I'm trapped.
no, no, you said I was going to ask how you're doing because you said a lot, but it did get me thinking when you said that about the COVID quarantine smell. I'm like,
Mm,
that's probably true. It's probably, I mean, probably in that you have more time to think about your skincare regimen,
mm,
right?
mm. There's a
Or
lot. There's time to do anything, or not, or to
or
or
not.
to not,
Well,
or to let
or
it
to not.
just,
Right. And if you
you
don't
know,
live alone, somebody else could tell you, "Hey, it's time. It's
listen.
time to to get back in that shower." That could also occur.
That I could, does, would, I imagine all of the above, right? I do. I am involved in the child care. You were saying before we got to talk out
Hmm.
loud that you're doing some of the adult care, adulting in your home.
Yes.
How is that? How is the raising
Oh,
of the parents going for you?
well, I I have to be fair. I'm not a caretaker in that sense with my mother who lives with me. Like
Mm,
she has a part-time job. She actually at one point had two part-time jobs, but due to Trump administration, one of those jobs had to close because of lack of
mm,
funding.
mm, mm.
Um, but she has a part-time job, and she'll be starting a part-time MSW program in the fall. So
Come on now.
I know,
Come on
I'm
now.
proud
Go
of her and
ball.
excited. Yeah.
Shit,
Um,
y'all get your whole Golden Girls on then. Y'all just in there
but
doing
it's
Gilmore, doing the Black Gilmore Girls.
exactly it is. It's more of the Black Gilmore Girls um, living single, but also,
Ooh, come on.
but but it's not because if we like have a discussion or we're having an argument and she tells me she breaks the wall and she's like, who are you talking to, even though technically it's my house and I'll be 38 years old, next week. All I can say is nothing. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Right, like, so it's like, how we haven't lived together in over 18 years,
Yeah.
and this happened, and she'll say something like, you need to go in a timeout or go in your room, and I do. And that's what's weird because I'm like, but this is my house.
Right.
I live here. It's mine, but it doesn't matter.
So this is the first time that you've lived with your adult parent in, you said, 18 years?
Yeah, I mean, when I graduated high school,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I graduated high school, went to college, and we lost our home in DC, and so she had to move. So my parents were divorced, so I either spent my summers with my father or some extended family, or I was in New York working. Um, and then after that, it was jobs and grad school. So no, we have not lived like this
Right, right.
since I was a minor.
Listen, I did the same thing when I was in my 40s, when I was about, when, no, when I was 40, right? And lived with my adult parents for a year. It is not, the same as setting up shop, clearly, but it is still living with your adult parents.
Yep,
And I gotta say, it's a thing to do. It's a thing to do.
it's a thing. It's a
I am
thing.
with it. I am with it. Do you
Oh
know?
yeah.
You get to actually know them as people,
Yes, yes.
and they
It is.
have to go say.
No, it has been a. I will say this: we neither she nor I would have proposed it if I didn't live in an actual house. If we were, say, if I were in an apartment, it would have been like, no, 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 this isn't gonna work.
Right.
So the physical spacing that like helps, but
Sure.
you're right. It's a chance to experience a mother who has a very strong personality and has growing up was a great mom, but to experience her what
Has a very strong personality. I love it.
she does.
Was she starting her masters?
Right, right.
Come on.
So it's but to experience her as like her own adult woman, and she has a life and she has friends. She dates way more than me, like way more. Oh yeah, no, it's a thing. Because she and I just have different approaches to dating. So like, let me tell you. Okay, we had a COVID scare
Uh-huh.
a couple of months ago, and we went to the doctors, and the doctor had to come out to the
You,
parking.
her, who? What was
She,
the
she,
scare?
I'm
She.
sorry,
Okay. All right. Right.
she,
Right. Right.
she has asthma, so anything warrants getting checked out. So we're there in the parking lot. She's getting checked out by the doctor, and her phone is ringing, and I pick it up for her, but then I hint it to her because I'm like, I don't know who it is, and she says, "Who is this? Who is this? Jason? I have multiple Jasons on my phone. You need to explain who you are." And the thing is, she does. She has multiple insert man's name here, so she has to put like an initial or an asterisk or something because she'll have multiple Jasons on her phone.
Oh my God. I
And I'm
love
like,
it.
we're in a parking lot. You getting checked for COVID, and
Eh,
you're. I got multiple dudes on my phone. You need to be more. You need to be clear in who you are.
some specification, please.
Mm-hmm,
The soul of
mm-hmm.
the narrative. The soul of the narrative.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my God. So y'all made it through the COVID scare though?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
she's had asthma for some time, so she herself is really really vigilant about taking the right steps, taking the precautions because she works in a hospital anyway, so she's
Mm,
already good. Um,
mm.
but then she was having some shortness of breath and can't even remember, but there was some other stuff, so we just went. But
Yeah.
she's good, all good, as am I so far. So
Good, 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 good,
yeah,
good, good, good. Yeah, and you got to say into one of the things we have in common, right? Uh,
yeah.
uh, got that sclerosis.
The close. I was gonna say, I was like, what's his word for it? Because my sister and my brother, what they like to do is, so I have much younger siblings. Well, they're in their 20s now, but
Okay,
they
okay.
they'll tease me and be like, are you sclerosed up? Are you all sclerosed up? What's happening? If I say I can't do something,
Yeah.
you got the sclerosis. Is the sclerosis acting up? So
What's the roses doing? You need a nap? You need a
sclerosis,
nap? Your face
yeah.
hurt? What you need?
Right. The problem
Hey.
with with getting diagnosed with a chronic illness as an adult, but having lifelong friends is that, and obviously the lifelong relatives, is that you can't say it's MS for some things because they'll be like, nah, 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 because I knew you when, and this is all you. This ain't no fatigue, or if it is, fine, but you've been fatigued for since you were 4 or 14 or whatever. So that's the problem with having lifelong friends is they you can't really get away with this with as much.
Yeah, well, it is difficult, right? I mean, the thing about the having the invisible disability that and being so, well, let me ask you this, right? Because I am a lucko, right? I am a lucko. If you're gonna have an MS, listen, listen, Hunty, have my
Mm.
MS, right? Now, I gotta tell you, it's a mess up in there. Like it
Oh,
is.
right,
Wow.
right.
I was
I
shocked. What's your
yeah,
brain look like? What's your brain look like? Do you know?
well they told me when I had the lumbar puncture, because that was the final step.
Oh, you did it?
You ain't get the
Oh,
lumbar puncture.
fuck no.
No, you
Fuck no. No, no,
didn't
no,
get
no,
the lumbar puncture.
no. Because my brain is so fucked up they didn't need to.
Oh wow, oh wow,
No,
yeah, yeah.
they looked at the MRI. Do you know what it looked like? It looked like the fireworks that was going off this year. It looked like Rona fireworks. Like
Oh my damn.
everybody went and bought all the industrial fireworks and set them
Oh,
off in my brain over about a 30-year period. So it just like,
oh,
yeah, as he was scrolling through, it was like, oh,
oh, damn.
oh, oh. Yeah, so they was like, yeah, we're good. You got
You
MS.
got it. You got the roses. Okay,
You
so
got
that
yeah.
for me, I had a really large one. I think he said it was the size of a $50, and
Okay.
uh, and then they didn't say how many others, and so they had to do some other tests, and so they did the lumbar puncture as the final thing. And I remember afterwards, I asked the neurologist, so how many lesions do I actually have? And he was just like, a bunch of them. Like that was his language was, because I said this in the podcast. He was just like, a bunch of them, and I'm like, is that a clinical? Sir, a bunch? Is that like in the medical textbook?
Oh yeah.
A bunch
Yeah.
means
Yeah.
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 So, and I've seen it. I've seen it. It does not look like fireworks. It looks like a thing of puddles. Just puddles, like a mat. Like I'm trying to think of
Okay.
just a lot of overlapping circles. A lot
Okay.
of overlapping circles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Is it
So,
like one area do you know about
mostly
or
my right. Mostly my right brain.
okay.
And a good portion on my spine.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
what's that mean? That's physical? That
So
means
that
like
I've looked. It's weird. Yeah. So it's weird because I think I'm with you in that I consider myself like a lucky MSer in that I'm
listen.
walking. I have I couldn't say 100%, but I've definitely got over 90% full use of my limbs and digits. Right? I
Hmm.
talk.
Hmm.
My cognitive functions are like I'm okay. But what I do have. Oh, and so to your question about the physicality. So right,
Hmm.
I'm not good with walking for an extended amount of time.
Okay.
And I don't really have full use of my left arm and hand. Like I do, but it takes an effort. It takes some effort. I'm just used to it
Nigga, no
right
you
now.
don't. No you don't. No you
What?
don't. That's not
What?
how you do but you don't. I do but
Because
I don't.
it's one
I
of those
do but
things.
I don't have use of different limbs too. What that mean you do but you don't.
Because you know how the body compensates before you're even aware of it. So
There you
like,
go. There you
right.
go.
That's what
Yes.
led me to get the diagnosis because I found myself typing fine with my right hand, right? But I was clawing up with my left. I was typing with my knuckles. And somebody else noticed it. I hadn't even noticed it. Somebody else, like a coworker, was like, "Why do you type with your knuckle?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know I was doing it." So
Mm.
that's what I mean by, for me, I'm probably making so many, I'm compensating in so many ways without
Yeah.
even being conscious of it. That's
Yeah.
that's all.
No, you adapted. You adapted.
Yeah, yeah, I adapt. I
Yeah.
adapt. For me, like you said, the invisible illness, I deal with serious fatigue,
Mm.
and excruciating nerve pain. Just excruciating nerve pain. That's why I partake in the vaping and the what do I use? Because the smoking doesn't really help with me. I have
Yeah.
the concentrate.
Yep.
I
Yep. Yep.
have the
Yep.
concentrate. Put it in tea or coffee.
Yeah.
Um, but I only started having access to medical marijuana in the last year, and so before that, I was prescribed this stuff for seizures, like gabapentin and
I am on
Lyric.
I'm on so much gabapentin. I am on
I
so much
feel
gabapentin.
I had such a bad reaction to it. Like I
What
would
happened?
take
What happened?
it made me too like loopy. It
Okay.
just made me too loopy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's just not for everyone. It made me too loopy.
Yeah.
But if the pain was that bad, I would just be like, fuck it. I got to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I took Lyrica. I had Lyrica for a long time, which I
Okay. Mhm.
was better than gabapentin, but it just made me exhausted.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I would have pain, but say I had to go work, teach, whatever. So I would take it, but oh my god, I literally would wake up looking forward to when I could come back to go to bed.
Oh, listen.
Yeah,
Listen.
and you know,
I,
like
yeah, no, I worked myself up the other day. Because tax time. Uh, and so I got all in my head and got frozen and whatever, and had brought myself to the level of stress to have an attack, have a little bit of a flare,
mm,
but a little one because it was a stress induced flare, right? So it wasn't
yeah,
like, okay, you going to bed. It was more like, all right, so what would you like to have hurt? What's going to be the thing? And
yes, that's it.
it was like lightning under my skin, but like just here. You know what I'm saying? It's like that the scene in Infinity War where they're putting the
Yes,
laser joints
yes.
in Doctor Strange face, but like there,
Oh
and
my
just
god.
every once in a while, just walk by and just tap
I described it to
tap.
my doctor. That's awful. No, that's awful.
Horrible.
I
Oh my God. Ah.
I described it to my doctor, and it was actually one of the few times where I described pain, right? Pain that's not visible, and was immediately believed and affirmed. It was so nice because she said when I was first starting to have this weird pain in various parts of my body, and she was like, "What is that? Can you describe it a little bit more?" And I said, "It feels like someone took a dagger,
Mm.
like 1,000 of them, dipped it in fire. Was it the fire stuff? Lights it on so it's an eternal fire. So the knife is
Okay.
has an
Right.
eternal
Right.
flame.
Right.
Is
Right.
digging it down my back and my legs and inside of my thighs and my hips. Just a
The
constant.
one in
That's
the
what it feels
thigh. The one in the thigh. Oh my
like. The thigh.
God.
The
Oh
one
my
in the thigh.
God. People don't
It,
understand that one. People don't understand that one.
it feels like it's like it's like an actual dagger on fire driving
Yeah. Yeah.
itself,
Yeah.
and you can touch it. You can
Yeah.
touch it. You're
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
is
You just be
that?
looking for. You be looking for it. You be looking for where it is. Like, God
Yeah,
damn it! I know there's something in there.
right.
Oh.
Like, why is this? What is happening?
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I haven't met somebody with symptoms like mine before. The first thing I had was the I used to call it the spider sense. I've heard other people call it the stinger, where it's like your hair hurt, like you got a fever, right? Like the
Read that.
follicles hurt.
I haven't felt it, but I've read that. Yes. Yeah. It sounds
I
awful.
would get that, and it would just like, and then stop. But it's like every 45 seconds for
That's crazy,
like,
man.
yeah, and it'll
It's
be
crazy.
for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Until it's just like, you know what? Here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to smoke until I go to bed, and then I'm going to wake up because I quit today. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the thing in the thigh, get the fuck out of here with that
What
shit,
is
though.
that? And
No,
the
I'll
only thing
scream. I scream. It hurts so
no, it
much.
hurts. It hurts. And the only thing, I mean, so medical marijuana helps, and or if I say I couldn't have medical marijuana or I didn't want
Medical
to take
heroin, medical heroin,
medical
medical
heroin,
heroin.
the only thing that would help would be some strange ass contortion I would do with my body,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where like my ass in the air, my legs out. So I'm thinking it's some sort of flexibility thing, but it's not. It's got nothing to do with it. It's
Mm,
just oh yeah, no, the thigh one is the worst.
I'm
It is the
telling
worst.
you. Ooh, ooh, when it's on the inside.
It's
Ugh,
like that.
God damn it.
And that's the invisible illness problem because I've
Yeah.
had that pain, right? That shooting pain. I've been standing in lectures or I've been sitting in meetings and nobody, is gonna. What am I gonna do? What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? Like I can't do anything.
Hey, somebody put a sword in my leg. Does anybody? Can someone get this out of here, please?
right,
I'll keep
right,
going in a second, but I mean, it's touching the bone. I have to. This hurts.
right. And I'm trying to be present and
Yeah.
what have you, but and I immediately think about the fact that, hey, Linda, you have MS, you have a full-time job, be grateful. Like that's so I try not to fuck it up. That's my thinking is, well, don't fuck it up because you don't want to go on disability, you don't want to not be employable. So I just live with pain because even the MM is not like there's nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
I I have in the last 2 years, 3 years, I am now essentially I think there's a word for it. I'm not vegan because I still eat eggs, but I avoid dairy. I avoid all processed foods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bit, process anything because I did notice because I tested it out and I hate admitting this because I hate crunchy people so much. But the
Welcome.
less
Welcome.
no, I rebuke it. No, okay, because the whole
Let's have kombucha.
oh God, no, fuck
It's
kombucha. I
so
don't want to have
good.
any kombucha. I want fries. I want ribs. I want fried chicken wings. I want more fries. I want fried chicken wing fries. Okay, but I did notice when I ate them, the nerve pain went up. When I had dairy, the nerve pain, yep, yep. So now I'm one of those. Oh, do you have almond milk? Or just I'll have oat milk and I hate it because when I was diagnosed I definitely got responses from some folks was like, oh, well, if you just grow your own tomatoes and, eat basil and tomato and kombucha the rest of your life, you'll be cured. I couldn't stand the crunchy talk about diet to illness. Yes, of course, there's truth to a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the delivery just pissed me off,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's so much judgment involved in people's diets.
Well,
And
there's
I
as
hate
much.
that.
There's so much. I mean, the thing of it is, like the difficulties that you're talking about, right? These are difficulties that we experience because of made up bullshit, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
think nationally, this is the first time that uh, temporarily abled people. I'm sorry, I have to just let them know because here's the thing.
Yep.
I haven't gotten this deep into the MS here with our friends under the philosopher's tree before, and so they don't know there's a
Okay.
word for them.
Oh.
Your Karen word, folks, is temp. I
Oh.
coined it, and you are
Okay.
temporarily abled. You are not able-bodied,
Like,
and
like,
because here's
because
the
you don't know.
thing, you're going to get old. You may not get MS, you may not get rheumatoid arthritis, you may not get the AIDS, you may not get the COVIDs, but do you know what? You're going to get old, and at some point, you're going to poop into a bag. So you too need to know all of these things,
And have
dummy,
compassion.
and have
Yes.
compassion.
Have
All of the
compassion.
things that we use, they're using, right? You see them. This, first of all, how long have we been waiting and telling people, listen, if you can do this via video, I could give you 5 lectures in a day across the country.
Yeah.
Easy,
Yep. Yep.
easy. But what kills me is the having to get on and off of planes. That's the thing that exhausts me because for the
Yeah.
work that I do during the day or night or whenever, people say make words with your mouth hole, then it means I got to get on a plane to go do
Yes.
because for some reason the words only count if they get to see you. If you get a meet and greet and you're going to touch people, and
Yep.
then you're really there, as though I'm not really fucking here. What are you talking about?
And
And
traveling is so
talk about it.
exhausting. It is
Talk
so
about it.
exhausting. And that breaks my heart because I love travel. I love it, love it, love it.
I love
But
everything about it, but I need a day to recover before we do anything.
yes, yes, and I have to explain that. I have to one incorporate that now, like consciously incorporate it because I was denying it for a long time, and really it was my mom and my close friends who were like, Linda, have you noticed you always get a cold right after you come back from something? You notice you're always tired right after you come back from something. And it can be something that's 2 hours away, but there's something
Yeah,
about
you ain't
just
got
the
to go far. You ain't got to
traveling.
go far. Yeah,
I'm just out. I'm out. And
yeah,
so yeah, I have to plan around the travel. It's like it's not just planning travel. I have to then plan around the travel. And
yeah.
then with the COVID Rona stuff, I so the immunotherapy I'm on with Tysabri, if say I travel, say I'm exposed and have to go quarantine, I can't get my immunotherapy. And that's not good. Really not good. Because talk about the knives, well, that's double
Man,
time without my infusion. So
see,
it got too complicated to plan around the travel, and plan it so that if I were exposed, I could still miss an infusion or still get the infusion on. It was
hmm
too much. It was too much.
yeah,
But right, this is the stuff we deal with. And yeah, when you get older, you're gonna have to deal with those sort of things.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. It's gonna happen, right? And the thing is, right, we're in this national moment where it's so clear. It's so clear. This is not hard. This is not hard. I could
Yeah.
fix it. I could fix it. And I'm a dum dum. I'm not a dum dum. I'm not a
I
pussy.
mean,
But like,
it's clear.
put on a mask, pay people to stay home. We're done.
Put on a mask. Put on a mask. I mean, one
Pay
thing.
people to
Well,
stay home 2 months. Go
I
ahead.
don't like this, but one thing I'm seeing that I was diagnosed at 24,
Okay.
and I was, in graduate school here at Harvard, and this was pre-Obamacare, pre-Affordable Care Act. So for me, job meant health insurance. No job meant no health insurance, and I'm diagnosed with an illness. I've been healthy and well my whole life, and I'm diagnosed with an illness that I'm told is one of the most expensive illnesses to have in the United States in terms of care.
Yeah.
So then everything flips for me, because now it's not about publishing and getting postdocs. It's about, well, I just have to make sure I have a job, like
Yeah.
an actual job that is consistent and I can kind of take for granted a little bit because I'm asked out without the insurance. And now I'm seeing mostly on the Twitters, but because of the high unemployment rate that we're now experiencing because of COVID, all these people talking about maybe we shouldn't tie employment to health insurance, which has been brought up before, but it's just
Right.
there's a resurgence of it now. I'm like, right, no, we shouldn't. We
We
should
should
not
not.
tie ability to work with their right to receive health care.
At all.
That it's very, very, it confounded me at 24, and it confounds me, it angers me now that
Yeah.
every professional opportunity, everything like that, it's always within the theme of, okay, will I have the right healthcare? Will I be able to get the right neurologist? Will I be able to get the right, flexible spending account? Which,
Mm,
unfortunately, I see as privileges, which they shouldn't be.
mm,
I am, like you said, I have MS, and I am so fortunate that my employer is known as having the Cadillac of benefits.
mm.
Okay, that very much informed my decision with this job,
Yeah.
because it is one of the Cadillac, and this is in the nation. It is referred to as a Cadillac of health insurance. Well, that's where I'll be.
Mm. That's
But
it.
I hate to have to think that way.
Well, listen, I'm sure you do, right? Because then it places you, right, with limitations again because of the structures of white supremacy and white privilege in the heart of it, right? Like, not
Yeah.
only does that mean you got to be in Cambridge, not only does that mean you got to be in Massachusetts, not only does that mean you got to be at Harvard, like, generally, we're saying, okay, so if you want what they are saying is access to the best healthcare given the circumstance that you're in, then you're
Mm-hmm.
also bound to be part of a predominantly white institution, right?
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no way to not
Yep.
be part of a PWI unless you're going to be down in Xavier or what other medical schools or what
I,
other schools do we
right.
have that kind of access?
When I was diagnosed, one of the things that my mother said, and she was right, was that uh, I couldn't have been at a better place to be diagnosed. I
Mm,
am in one of the healthcare meccas of the world. Like seriously, just the world. We got Brigham and Women's, we got Mass Gen,
yeah,
we have Tufts, um, we have like the man Howard Weiner, who will, I'm certain if there's ever a cure found for MS, he will be a part of it. He's right down the street. Okay, he's right down the street. Teaches at Harvard Med School, works at Brigham and Women's, right? And me personally, and I've shared this. My dream was always to teach at an HBCU,
yeah,
always.
yeah,
Um, and there's many reasons. It's not just my healthcare why I don't, but I know that there's only less than a handful of places I could do that. If all other things were equal, there's
right.
only 2, 3 places I could do that and
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah, it's wild limiting, right? And for me, then thinking about the history of like why there are so few black doctors, right? Why there are so many black nurses, and this moment in healthcare that decided, right, because of this accreditation that there were only going to be
Yep.
a limited number of black doctors. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of black doctors all along the South for a very long time. And white institutions did, they pulled a Tulsa on it. They were just, they put,
Imagine if they pulled a Tulsa on it.
what I'm saying? They did the
No, they
institution of
did. They
Tulsa.
did.
They was like, just burn the shit down. Y'all niggas can't be touching people.
Nope.
Stop it.
No.
And then that was it. And it does it for anybody who has been fortunate enough, as you have spoken about, right, and recognizes that to have been to have honestly, it's lottery, right? We're not, we
Yeah.
don't, we, it, I lucked up in terms of being able to navigate the systems to the effect that I've been able to navigate them. It's not a matter of there being anything special. I was born into a good enough zip code that, not good enough. I was born into a zip code where that was part of the qualifier of the socialization and the social script,
Right.
and everyone around was very
Right.
clear in terms of, no, this is how we do life, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a very different experience that a lot of people again don't get, right?
Yeah.
Because it is designed to prevent that, and it's wild.
And I, it's because something you said then just reminded me when I was diagnosed, and it was pre Affordable Care Act, even though even with the Affordable Care Act, people with diagnoses have to deal with this. I was in grad school and I've had full time jobs before, but that was my diagnosis was when I realized that your managing your health can be a full time job.
Hmm.
Because again, I'd led a well health related like a well life. So I find out, oh, I need this pre-authorization. Okay, so then I have to call party A
Hmm.
to apply. Okay, that's going to take a couple of weeks. Then I have to call party A back to make sure that they send my approval to party B,
Right.
who is the one who will authorize my getting the prescription that otherwise will cost me $800 a month. So, so then I have to call party B and say, hey, did you get the paperwork from party A? No. Okay, so then I got to call back party A and make sure this whole managing
Yeah.
of dissemination of materials, receiving the materials, and then applying the materials to whatever. I mean, I learned I had to be my own advocate,
Yeah.
which I was, and I realized something that was devastating, which was part of the healthcare system relies on exhaustion, right? Because because I kept thinking, what if I had a kid? What if I just had a partner, a family? Like, I wouldn't have time for this. I don't have
Yeah.
that, not like the actual time, but like physical, mental, and I understood. I started to understand now when I would go see my neurologist and see people with binders. I got a binder. I got a binder with
Mm.
everything in
Mm.
it. So that
Mm.
way, no, you don't need to reach out to my former doctor. You don't need to do this. I have it all here, accept it. Because otherwise, it's all these phone calls and emails and faxes. I'm like, there's nobody under 35 that even uses a fax machine, but somehow I've got
Right. Right.
got to do this fax mess. Um, it just is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I try to pull that experience and perspective into my advising with college students, where I have to say, look, shit's real bad. It's real bad.
Mm.
There's no other answers except shit's real bad. I'm telling you, you are going to be all right. It's not going to feel that way, but you have the resources by virtue of, because I'm talking about Harvard, you're a Harvard college student. We're here for you. It's just not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good, but you are going to be okay. Okay,
Hmm.
being a relative term. I
Hmm.
try to
Hmm.
bring that perspective into shit's real bad right now. It's going to be very scary, uncomfortable. Um, you are building skills. I try to remind students that, like, you are now, like, this whole generation of college students are now well skilled in crisis management,
Mm.
in communication, in figuring it out on the fly.
Mm.
being resourceful. Like these are all things that you are now more skilled than a lot of us. Like that's how I try to reframe it to them because that's how I had to with my own diagnostic journey.
Yeah, yeah. How have you been dealing, or have you been dealing, and I'm only asking this because I have recently,
Mm,
with the mourning that I'm beginning to find is necessary to make space
mm,
to actually build these new structures, right? And find this way out. And I think is one of the things that we don't tend to allow for ourselves enough. And I think carrying the weight of the emotional labor of being black, right? Now add the intersectionality of being disabled, of being a woman, of being non-binary, of being whoever it is that doesn't fit into the categories, right?
mm.
Being gender fluid, what have you. And that, if it is not given its space, in particular during this time of, oh, here's another global crisis to add to that.
Right.
PS one more,
Right.
just in case you weren't all the way stressed out, right?
Yeah.
That there's got to be room for mourning, I think, the old world as well, because if you don't, I I honestly do believe that that's where the cognitive dissonance sets in, right? That's where you see these motherfuckers in the street without a mask. That's where you see Disneyland is open because of this refusal to just say, yeah, the world is gone.
Shit's right. Shit's fucked up. Shit's bad. We
Yeah,
don't know what it's going to look like, but here are the things that we can do that are based in fact and science and history
yeah,
to make things a little better. But shit's bad. Just accept
yeah.
shit's bad. What you're saying reminds me of. I hate those conversations about hope. Like
Mm,
I've been asked that as a writer.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Room for hope. I'm like, I don't know. Does there have to be? I don't know. Talk about binary. I feel like I can talk about facts and talk about negative things, and that doesn't make me a negative person. Like
Mm-hmm.
I still feel want to fall in love and all that other stuff, but I can also say no, shit's real bad. Shit's fucked
Yeah,
up. This whole burn it all down. It's all bad.
all
Um,
bad.
and I like both of those things, both the idea of hope and love and happy and giggly can exist with burn it all down. It has
Mm,
to. We're human.
mm,
So
mm.
I yeah, but I get flack for that. It's like because I don't offer hope and things. I'm just like, oh, all right, fine. I don't offer hope. That's strange to me. I think it's also how I was raised. Like it,
What is it that you think people are looking for when they're saying offer hope? Like what are you saying that gets, like, if you were in
I
a
don't want to be
conversation with
absolved.
somebody, say it one more time?
I think the people who really push for that are people who tend to be not black and want to be feel absolved of something. It's like they want to feel not responsible. It's like no, we're all responsible. First of all,
Mm,
anybody can be an agent of white supremacy. I can
mm,
act on white supremacy.
mm.
Okay, that is true.
That's
It doesn't mean
wild. Yeah,
you see
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it doesn't mean that we're on equal footing, me and white man, but I can do things in the name of white supremacy. We see it all the time. Look at Clarence Thomas. Okay, like if he's not an agent of white supremacy, all right, he's a black man, but that's his experience. That's how he lives. Fine, but he
Yeah,
is. So
yeah.
I think those people are the ones who just want to avoid that icky feeling of I may have had and or have a role in the oppression of others.
Yeah.
You know,
That is so wild. That is so wild to me and so disturbing to me that that's where it went. Because when I asked you that, I swear to God, I was like, "Oh, these students are trying to figure out how they're going to live through COVID."
no,
Aw,
no,
aw. Oh, you're upset because you're getting called racist? You motherfucker. You want hope?
yeah, yeah. It's actually not
I
students. I mean,
hope
I'm sure.
the COVID don't hit our families. That's what I
Right,
hope.
right,
Motherfuckers.
exactly,
Yuck.
right. But
Yuck.
for the most part, students, don't no, it's usually my peers and colleagues and the older folks. Students don't really. I mean, yeah, I'm sure some students somewhere saying dumb stuff, but
Yeah.
I
Say
don't.
it. Say it.
They're the least resistant to this conversation. Is what I've
Okay.
noticed. Students of all identities are the
Good.
least resistant to having a conversation about culpability and ownership and
Okay.
accountability.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
are. They
Okay.
really are. And
Yes.
that's
I like
what
it.
kind
I
of
like it.
that's what pisses me off because I'm like the people who have lived the least seem to at least have a better approach to, I don't know, if they don't know they want to find out, or if they don't know they care that they don't know, if they don't know they're not loud and wrong. So my
Mm,
experience, the people who are the loudest and most wrong have been my age and up.
mm,
Very rarely 18 to 21. Or if they're loud and
mm.
wrong, they're loud and wrong about the same stupid stuff like the relationships and sex. But they're not really, they're not really loud and wrong about like race relations or anything like that.
Right. 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 Huh. Isn't it? It is an interesting moment. I am glad to hear that from somebody who's like actually around
Yeah.
gaggles of the youngs. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't get gaggles. I see some young people. I have young mentors. You know what I'm saying? I need them too,
Yep.
but I have them like selectively. You know what I'm saying? I got like five, six
Well,
youngs, radical youngs.
I'm sure for what I'm saying, there's a gaggle of the young folk that are like, no, just she's terrible. Great, Obama's the problem. Blah blah blah. So maybe it's some self-selection too. But I just, based on my anecdotal and professional experience, the young folks are the least wrong.
Mm,
They're the least wrong. At least,
mm,
which says a lot. Like, damn, they know the least, but they're the least wrong. Like that,
hmm.
which I guess is refreshing. That gives me hope. It gives me hope that the young folks aren't the one to ask me about hope.
Yeah, that no,
It's
that is because
yeah,
I can tell you that the folks who you're talking about are, in fact, while your professional peer is my generational peer, and I have had that conversation with them since 1990 and two. It's not a new.
I just before this, I'm on Facebook. I don't know. Again, I did it to myself. I played myself. Like Beyonce, I played myself. That
What'd you
that
do?
letter,
What'd you do? What'd you do?
that Harper's letter, the Harper's letter with all of the like, oh, you don't know about the, oh, you're gonna get mad.
Talk
Okay,
to me.
so
What happened?
so
What happened?
a bunch of public intellectual, tenured scholars of all identities, yeah, for the most part, all identities, came out with this. Literally, no one has asked for. No one came out with this letter in Harper's Weekly last week
Okay.
about, hey y'all, we're really glad that like there's all these grassroots movements going on for shifts in politics and policy and so on. But we just want to take a moment. Again, no one. We want to take a moment to address this cancel culture, and we are worried. See, we are worried that the space for civil discourse and discussion is getting threatened, and we there shouldn't people should be allowed to say things without fear of harsh, I don't even know what consequences, because none of these people, by the way, are unemployed, face unemployment, have had any sort of corporal threats to their lives. I'm not really, I'm not really sure. Again, no one asked for this. People are dying in the streets. People are dying at home. People are dying in the hospital. And again, these people with the most financial and social capital in our country, among those populations, say, hey guys, we don't like it that now when we say things, y'all clap back harder than we're used to. We
Yeah.
don't like that we have to hear it. So how do we get back to the part where we don't have to hear it? Because that's really what it's about. They
Yeah.
don't
That's it.
want to hear it.
Oh, Bill Buckley could not have survived this shit.
Oh no,
Bill
no,
Bill Buckley could not have survived this shit. That
no.
thin-skinned fucking
Well,
walking
so I
loafer.
I unintentionally, because so one of the writers, because so you should look at the signees, or is it signatories, signees, whatever, the people who signed the letter. Because now there's been fallout from the people who signed the letter because a good portion of the people who signed the letter, again, who are scholars, so this
Yeah.
is disturbing, didn't really read the full letter and didn't look at who else was signing, such as J.K. Rowling. Okay, right, right, right.
Asshole J.K.
So
Rowling.
I'm not signing a letter that I'm not signing that. I'm not signing that. Okay? No,
Nope.
no, 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 no. Because this is not
Yeah.
about. This is about JK's mad. And can I just say, if I had, I really want to understand what I'm missing. Because if I had the billions of dollars, I feel like I wouldn't be talking as much. I feel like I would be in the Galapagos, in Fiji, in Morocco. I would
She
just be
be
like,
she be just like, yeah, looking for
Bruce.
shit nobody asked her for the longest. It's like, just, hey, you know what? No one asked me if Dumbledore like ass sex. No one asked me that, but you know what I want to talk about? I
And
want
I'm
to talk
gonna.
about Dumbledore having some ass sex. Also, no one really asked me to clarify if Hermione is actually black, and because if I did, that would actually stir up some bullshit that doesn't need to be stirred up. But I did describe her very clearly. Let me just say, yeah, she's black.
It's
Also,
confusing.
I don't know if anybody cares. Only biologically born women are women. What the fuck?
But you
Fuck
again,
you,
again,
you fucking
she
turd.
write it
Who
down,
asked you?
and it was just like, oh,
You
within
typed it. You
you know,
typed it. You
and
thought
get
about it, and then you wrote it, and then you put, not only wrote it, you were like, where can I platform this idea?
I'm just
Where can I
confused.
get this in the zeitgeist?
I will say this here because I said this in graduate school with my best friend, one of my best friends from graduate school, Ashley Farmer. She's a fantastic scholar at UT Austin. She's amazing.
Mm,
Does Black feminist history, and we made a
mm,
pledge to each other. We were just like, we need to if we ever start getting into that space where we're just talking shit for no other reason when no one has asked, and we are completely we sound so removed
mm.
from actual societies and world going on. We have to say, hey, you shut up, just shush 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 shush. I ask, so I say that here. I ask that of my parents, my best friends. Tell me when to shut up, because that so what that tells me in that letter too. Y'all need some better friends. You need some
Mm.
better friends. You need some better friends. Some friends. First of all, if I'm JK's friend, I'm like, hey, can you fly me out to
Oh, she ain't
one
got
of
no
these?
friends. She ain't got no friends. She ain't got no
Right.
friends.
Because you
She
wouldn't
ain't
be
got no
talking.
friends.
You'd be flying me out to places at the very least.
Yeah.
This is you don't have friends. You need
She
some
ain't got no
better friends.
friends. She ain't got no friends. That's the thing that you know, I've realized that there are folk who have so isolated themselves that the only people they ever see are
Yeah.
employees, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
they have their little Christmas party, I mean, it's the saddest thing in the world.
No, it's true.
And I'm not saying this because I want to humanize or empathize with the rich. I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? It's hard
But
to
you're right.
empathize with. Listen, they're the ones who are talking about cannibalism is going to be necessary, right? You know, so if they're the ones talking that shit, then I'm like, well, you are the marbled, and we're eating you first. And you know, and they are isolated. They don't
Yeah.
have anyone who's going to snatch them back, because the thing is, you'll lose your job.
But that's what I don't get. Like, Carlos, I don't understand it because right, you're where you are right now, but you weren't always. Some of them were. Some of them fairly that's fair to say. Some of them were, but not all of them. So
Not
like,
not all of them, but a majority, right? And we're talking about the difference between rich people, wealthy people. Okay, like she rich, so she just
yeah,
showing her ass because she knew,
right, right.
right?
That's
She don't
that's
know
fair.
shit. She
That's
knew,
fair.
right?
But you're right in that their worldview gets actually smaller because I see that a lot, obviously, in academia, where I'm hearing these world-renowned and understandably brilliant people that I respect, but just say some dumb shit
Dumb shit.
about
Dumb
people.
shit.
And I'm just
Listen,
like,
let's talk about it. Fuck it. Let's talk about it. Here's an unpopular opinion.
what?
Ibram X. Kendi has written a good book. It's not on the top 10 seller list. How about that? How
What are
about
you talking
that?
about? Which book?
Stand from the Beginning is brilliant.
Oh yeah,
This
no, Stamp is
other
excellent.
dangerous ass shit that these white people be loving on, talking about black people could be a racist. Fuck out of here.
Oh, his next book. Yes.
Fuck out of here.
Yes. Yes.
I walked out of a lecture. I'm not even lying. I got up. I was like, oh, this is some bullshit. This is just a way to make white people feel good and get your paycheck. And clearly the publishers told you hurry up and get another book out because we gonna do some shit. Fuck that shit. I
I
am not here
disagree with
for
the
it.
entire premise of the what is it? How to be an anti-rate? Yes, I disagree with the entire premise because the way it works, you can start. The way it works is it identifies everybody as racist. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not all racist. But Stamped is brilliant. Is actually brilliant,
I
brilliant.
love it's brilliant. Listen, if we want to big up shit, I'm here for that too.
Oh,
Stamped
Stamped from
from
the
the
beginning.
beginning.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's an
Bye.
easy read. You can it's like a novel.
Yes, but I
It's
think
like a
how to be an
novel.
anti-racist just by the title alone, it gets back to that absolution stuff. Like, oh, don't worry, because it's all racists are equal. No, 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 it's not. Like
No,
black people can be bigoted. We can't be racist. We can
can't
be
be
bigoted
racist.
now, but we cannot be racist. There, and that's a key distinction. It's important to make.
Is very gross. It's very gross in the
Yeah.
same way that Robin DiAngelo is gross, and her theory and postulation is to me right now. Let me say
Well,
this.
I say I actually have not read her book.
I haven't read the book, but I have followed her because I've studied quite a lot of critical race theory. So she's
Mm-hmm.
been one of the darlings of critical
Right.
race theory for at least the last 10, 15 years,
Yep.
especially with the work she's been doing up in Seattle and the Pacific Northwest, right?
Right.
So
Right.
bravo for the actual work again,
Yeah.
again. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about this level up shit that happens and the
Mm-hmm.
choices people make when it happens to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
was a time when the lectures, the talks were very, very, very rooted in these are the black professors who taught me. This is their names. This is where I learned it. This is the thing. This is what I'm saying. I think this is the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this whole, again, even from the titular level, white fragility, fuck out of here.
Is it
Where
the
are the broken?
terminology?
It's the whole notion. They are not fragile. Whiteness
Yes.
is
Right.
resilient. It is
Yeah.
expansive.
It's
It
been
is
400
never
years.
ending. It is the blob. It will eat everything in its wake, and it lives off of the semen of black people and off of our ovaries. Ask all the Kardashians and anyone who's ever had a cancer treatment in their life. Fuck that shit. That
You
is
took there.
whiteness.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I guess because I never
Fragile.
read the book,
Fuck out of
I
here.
assumed my takeaway from what I did read about it was calling the response of white people to being called out as racist when they are as being it's fragile. So, but you're right.
It's
Whiteness itself
not.
is not fragile at all.
And the
It can't.
response is not fragile. The response is fucking violent. The response is an act of white supremacist violence, and it is state sanctioned.
That's true.
And
That's true.
if
We
we
saw that
coddle
with the
these
Civil War.
motherfuckers, yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah. No,
come
that's
on
true.
now, pop scholar, what are we doing? Like, let's get into it. Let's get
Well, then,
into it.
so for her, and then with Ibram, it does seem like there is this right now, this idea of, okay, we need to make this more palatable in order to make this change, which I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work because I feel like we've tried that before. Didn't we try
We've
that? We
been
tried
trying
that.
that.
We've tried that, right? I feel like we did multiple
We
times.
we gave you cis het men. We gave you suits. We get what the fuck you want? We gave you light skinned ones. We gave you the darkest skinned ones. We gave you capitalists. We gave you accommodationists. What the fuck?
We did. We did.
And
That's
these
why I'm just like,
motherfuckers
I don't
vote
even
against.
think this is going to work.
It's not
I
gonna
think we
work.
should just call it what it is.
Call it what it is. We all
Call it
got
what
to
it is.
walk on the same goddamn planet, or it's not, or we're not gonna. What are we talking about? If we're not all gonna walk on the same planet, that means there's no way we're gonna recognize where the goddamn booby traps are. If we
I think
don't
Trump
all know,
is on
then
different
we're gonna
planet.
step on them. Say
I
one more
think
time.
Trump might think. Well, no, Trump doesn't think we're on different planets. He just wants to make the planet whatever the fuck he wants.
I think I might be being a little literal because I
Mm.
swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to God, these white people, some of them, and I am talking about the whitest of the whites. And I
Mm.
do want to clarify, I am not excusing or absolving other whites. Okay, if one of the good whites is watching, bravo. Okay, but I am talking about the deep state whites, the Pizzagate whites. Okay, these motherfuckers are not living on the same planet. They think
Oh,
they live on a frisbee with a hole in the middle that all of the extra white people are living inside of. So this not it's not we don't live on the same fucking planet.
that's true. That's true.
That it right, which to me just begets the next logical question. Well, if this planet is the shape of a frisbee, what the fuck are the shape of the other planets? Stupid. It's an illusion. Fucking assholes. That's how come they don't wear masks.
The
Anyway.
mask thing with that population, I I think it's more than cognitive dissonance. It's. I think to your point, I think they do think they're on a different planet. Like it's I can do this. My identity, my whiteness, they don't think that consciously, but like that will protect
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's so strange because I'm like, no, but they've seen other folks dying. So like
Yeah.
folks that look like them dying,
They dead ass think they got superior genes.
but then they die.
And then they look like Rush Limbaugh.
I don't
And
understand. I thought,
and
oh, and he was in the news lately. I thought he died. He didn't die.
he got sick again or some shit. Like some other fucked up shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
again.
So he was eating them pills he sell on his show. Some bullshit. Just like, what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? Even the one like Cheney walking around with a motherfucking fake heart. You know what I'm saying? That nigga
Yeah.
been dead for how long? Dick Cheney
He,
been dead. Then he died in the
how
Bush
old is he?
administration. He's still walking around talking that shit.
How old is
God
he? How old
damn.
is Cheney?
257? I don't know. The fuck?
250?
I don't know how old white people are. I can't tell.
He's very old. He
He's
is very old.
old. He's old. He's a real old one.
Like
Like
real old.
I'm sure the heart is not the only fake thing. I'm sure he got one of them little squishy things in his balls so he could get an erection. Whoop whoop
Oh
whoop
God,
pump.
I don't need to have
You know what I'm
that been.
saying? I'm sure he got no teeth. It's his.
But the old white male thing, I knew shit was gonna get real bad, like real bad when the old white men like the old white powerful men started when I think what is it Mathis wrote something. We just when we have these old white military generals coming out against Trump, I'm like, oh, or the GOP entirely. I'm just like, oh,
Into
this
the
about to be
Lincoln
bad.
Project.
It's
The Lincoln
bad.
Project, which by the way is a scam. The Lincoln
What?
Project, which by the way is a scam. The Lincoln
Yeah.
Project, they hate Trump, but the Lincoln Project is some bullshit, top to bottom. Get into it. It's some bullshit. It's some bullshit.
I don't
It's a
know much about.
motherfucker. Oh, he just a motherfucker taking everybody money, making good commercials about how he hate Trump. That's all. But he a racist, libertarian asshole.
All of
He ain't no good. He ain't no
they
good.
are. They still very much are racist, and so that's why I'm like, y'all are still entrenched in your own white supremacy, and you're still coming out like that. That's when I'm just like, I don't know what it's gonna look like tomorrow. I really don't because
Yeah,
they're coming out like you
yeah,
don't. The
yeah.
old white military men coming out saying stuff, writing something in print.
It's some shit. It's some shit. Their whole system is in some shit. Is in some shit.
Yeah.
Um, listen, I want to talk about your book, but we got a question on the board, so I'm gonna ask it.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know if everybody's gonna love the answer, but I'm gonna ask it. I'm reading
Oh.
it. It's on the screen. You may I don't know.
Okay.
May I ask a question of you too? What do you think about Angela Davis voting for Biden? I think it's crazy and goes against what she originally stood for. Doctor.
Um. I go against a lot of what I stand for. I work at a PWI, and many things that I do in my job and probably personal life upholds white supremacy. But we're in a war. We're in multiple wars and battles right now, and that is the smartest thing to do is to vote for Joe Biden. Angela Davis is smart, among many things. She's also smart, and she's lived a long time. And I'm not really going to critique her decision about this because she's seen some shit and she's being strategic. And last I checked, we are not yet a dictatorship country, so it's not I voting for Biden so he can rule the land, and I don't want to marry him. I don't want him to control everything. I want him to fix shit. And because he's the one on the ticket, I'm going to vote for him because I need someone to end this now and fix this shit. So I don't know about the person who asked the question, but me personally, I live in contradiction all the time. But I have an ultimate goal of living with kindness and doing more kind acts than not. And as long as I can do that, I'm happy. But I'm sure I contradict a ton of shit on like a weekly, if not daily basis. I'm fine with that. Something I wrote 10 years ago probably flies in the face of what I'm doing right now. That's called living.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like,
I'm with her.
yeah.
I'm with Angela straight up. I can't even lie, and I don't like Biden. I don't
Yeah,
like him. I've been very
no.
clear. I've been very clear.
Notice I didn't talk about Biden himself at all. I talked about
Yeah,
Angela. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't like
yeah.
him.
I've been very, very clear, and I'll say it straight up, and I'll continue to say it. I think he's a rapist. I think he's racist. I think he is disgusting. I think he be putting hands all kind of places where he need to be keeping his hands to his fucking self. I think
Yeah.
he's your gross uncle. I think that those who've been abused recognize exactly who the fuck he is.
Yes.
And I think that the fact that he is building the ticket that he's building, which is going to be built of some of the strongest black and brown women who have ever been in government, is a response to the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he is dead ass aware that he fucked over.
Anita.
Yeah, it was ridiculous that he fucked up. He put goddamn Clarence Thomas on the goddamn Supreme Court. That he
Mm-hmm.
fucked up. He's the reason that we got Scalia. That he fucked up, and I think that that's the reason that he reversed course and pushed so hard to make sure the gay marriage got through. When his team was like, "Nigga, what are you doing right now? We are
Mm-hmm.
busy."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he was like, "Listen, I fucked this up once. I'm not fucking it up
I'm
again.
not
We
gonna fuck
doing
it up
this.
again.
We
Right.
doing this shit." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And and he's garbage. He's straight garbage. I think he's surrounding himself by strong people, right?
Which is what a good
Also,
leader
further,
does.
which is what a good leader does.
Yeah.
Further, I would add that we do not yet have a parliamentarian government that I get to vote for. Because if I
Right.
did, then that's what the fuck I would do. And my
Right.
first choice would be whoever's the most greenest, leftist, radicalist motherfucker that there is. I don't
Right.
even get down with goddamn socialists. That's not far enough to me. To me.
Right.
But I don't get to decide the motherfucking government. And right now, what the problem is there's children in cages, and we have a government that is so goddamn illicit that they are now taking actual data and burying it to hide how many numbers of cases of COVID there are, but there are
Right.
going to be dead bodies anyway. They're
Right.
literally saying the CDC, because we don't like the answers they're giving us, don't
Right.
even get the data to analyze to then have something to say. We're going to keep it. So
Right.
that
So,
to me seems
right.
problematic.
It's about
So I
immediacy
have to.
over importance. It's just immediacy. And also, this focus on the executive office is part of the problem. We need to get Trump out, get somebody in, but who's your DA? Who's your sheriff? How many funds is going to the police department? Who's your mayor? Who's your congressman? Focus on those elections. Focus on those processes. They matter just as
Talk
much,
about it.
if not more than, who's in the executive office, because Congress is who creates the policies and the laws.
Talk about it.
Okay, so I'm like, cool, she's voting for Biden. That makes sense. And who look at the judges in your county.
Mm,
What's the electoral process for that? What's their background? What's going on in the prison in your state or prisons in your state?
Keep going.
That
Keep going.
focus on that.
Keep going. I
So
need you to keep going for exactly 2 minutes. You're on screen. 30 seconds. You're on screen. Keep talking that talk. Keep talking that talk.
okay, okay. um, I that is so such a strange thing. I just think that the executive office in the national election is not cannot be the sole focus, and I think part of the problem, I think it's almost part of an okie doke. Like we get so riled up in the national electoral process instead of looking at what's going on down the street in
Say it.
our same zip codes or neighboring zip codes. You
Say it.
know, how is the police captain? What's his background? What's the process with hiring teachers at your local public schools? Because you want to talk about predators, look at who's working in school, hospitals, medicine, education, and police. Okay, these are places where you can have a louder voice and actually have more of an impact in real time than the national election. And it will also then influence national elections. So I'm just like, Angela Smart, she's if this is what's on the ticket, let's get going. Let's move
Yeah.
forward so that we can then focus on this other shit.
Yeah. She that strategist. She that strategist. And the thing is, if you know
Right.
who she's been throughout her life, right? Know that when she was with the Panthers, she wasn't with the Panthers. Okay. She was a
Exactly.
Panther associate, right? And she was working on behalf of the Panthers as a lawyer. She had a very,
Yes.
very, very specific role, which was coaching Huey, who also was a lawyer, had passed the bar. So the way she's thinking, right? She
Strategy.
this is
It's strategy.
it's a strategy
It's
for a moment to mitigate harm. That's what we're
right.
talking about.
Right.
The whole thing we were talking
Right.
about before about the American Care Act, right? About Obamacare. If Obamacare
Yes.
gets wiped out, you're looking at two people who are fucked in fucked
Done. It's a
right
wrap.
now.
It's a
It
wrap.
is a
This goes in the
wrap.
archive.
This is my
Right.
job. I ain't got no other job. If the insurance companies decide that they don't gotta give no insurance to somebody who got a prior
We're both
disability,
fucked. We're both fucked. We're
it's a
both fucked.
wrap.
If my premiums go sky high, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. So the
So
whole if
it
Angela Davis,
matters deeply. It matters deeply, actually, right? And
yeah,
not because ain't nobody a Democrat in this motherfucker. Ain't nobody a
no,
Democrat.
it's not about that.
That team sucks. My team is garbage. Are you kidding me? It's
That's why
like
I
living it.
think the language
Yo,
is important. I said we're in a war. We're in a war. Just because, well, I was about to say because there's no bombs, but there have been bombs. There have been
there've
bombs.
been
People losing their
bombs.
eyes.
It is
Okay,
nigga
so
hunting
don't.
season.
We are in a war, and last I checked, when it comes to battles and wars, no decision is going to be liked by everybody. That's okay.
Mm,
You choose your
mm.
unhappiness, and this is the unhappiness that you choose right now. It's called being strategic.
We're just trying to get through it. We're just trying to
Yeah,
get through it. I'm trying
exactly.
to live. I'm trying to live. And part B,
I'm hoping
I'm
we're
trying to
doing
get back
it
out of
with
my
Hillary
house
Clinton.
again. I'm trying to get outside of my house again. Okay? And if
Right.
I'm ever gonna get
I
outside
can't
again,
see my family. Right. I haven't seen my father since Thanksgiving. I haven't seen my father, my brother, or my sister since Thanksgiving because I usually go in during spring break in the academic year, and by then the Rona happened. My father has a pacemaker. He has all kinds of health conditions. Um, so that's a wrap. I talk to him all the time, but I can't see him. He told me
yeah,
himself he doesn't want me to come down in Maryland. He was like, no, 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 because
yeah.
either I can't fly. If I drive, that's going to put me out.
Mm,
It's going to exhaust me. If I try to make the trip either straight or even if I try to take a break and stay at a family's who feel safe
yeah,
enough to even have me there, it's just, and they're in New York. So it's, no, this is a
yeah.
strategy. Everybody has to be thinking there is no such thing as a utopia, at least that we're not going to see in our lifetime. Black women were saying this when Hillary Clinton was running. Anybody like Hillary? I don't like Hillary. But we saw what was coming, so we were like, vote for Hillary, vote for her, and shut up. And now look. People were like, how bad can it get? This is we tried to tell you, this is how bad, and
And
it's
this
still
is
it's gonna
bad.
get
This is worse than you think. The
Yep. Yep.
first federal execution happened less than a week ago. There
Yes.
had not been a
Yep.
federal execution in this goddamn country for 15 years. Barr
Lee Party's friend.
decided it is nigger killing time. You
Yeah.
think this is not about them killing their political enemies in prison? You think what happened to Epstein was a suicide? Wake up.
Right.
That's why it's time to vote for Biden. I don't
Right.
like
It is
Biden.
not about Biden. It's
Fuck
not
Biden.
about Biden.
This is about vote for the other person. Other person, other person, other person. That's it.
Frankly, I really am worried. I want Biden to be healthy because the last photos I've seen of him, I'm like, yo, and I get it. That man is exhausted. I hate the Democratic Party that we had so many women of color, women and men of color, running. But ultimately, it was
We
nah.
didn't need
Let's
no
gonna
man of color running. We didn't need no man of color running. Let's not get generous. Let's not get generous.
what what I'm saying though is that y'all still ended up saying no. We need the oldest white man in the room, and I don't like Pete, Buttigieg. I don't. But y'all really went for the man who looks like he really needs to go lie down. He looks
Mm,
like that, and he deserves to.
mm.
He deserves to. I don't like Biden politically, personally. That man's been through some shit. Okay, he's been through some serious shit. It's time. If he was any other walk of life, I'd be like, yeah, no, you gotta retire. You gotta sit down. Okay, it's time to relax. But he's not. He looks weary, and that's the one we're going for. That's still the
And
one we have to pick.
and P.S. Ginsburg is in the hospital again.
I,
Okay,
I'm so tired of that. No, no, no,
so
Carlos, I'm so tired of that.
get your ass in the goddamn voting booth. He will get
I
two
hate
more
seeing
goddamn
reactions to that.
two more. He will get two more. Yo, Nana need a nap. She at the hospital again. If you love Ruth
And she deserves
Bader
to
Ginsburg,
be.
Jesus
This whole
Christ.
focus on her, this whole focus on her, let her live and possibly pass. Like this whole focus on an individual instead of the problem of the process of getting Trump out and somebody else in who could put more folks in. This whole focus on Ruth Bader Ginsburg like a messiah. She's not a messiah. She's a woman and she's tired.
And she's
And
a
work on
domino.
getting.
We got to pay attention. She's
I
a domino. If she falls, we
yeah,
fucked
yeah, right,
forever.
right.
You can't
So that's
reverse
why people.
that.
That's why people should be looking at their congressmen, the congress people, the DAs, the sheriffs, the chiefs, all of that. They should be looking at that.
Your senator, your state senator, the
Yep.
one that you think
All of
you
that.
ain't shit. Down ticket. Look
All of
down ticket. Get down ticket. Get down ticket. Get down ticket.
look at
That's
all
where
of
you could
that.
vote.
Right.
That's where you could vote for your radical motherfuckers. That's where you can vote for
Yeah.
your radical motherfuckers. Get down ticket. You are the political
Right.
leader.
So
If you get involved now.
Evangel Davis wants to cast that vote because she also is very much involved in local politics as she should be. If that's her vote for national, okay, cool, right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Or don't. You know, or don't. But that is coming from a place of
I don't
wild
want to hear
privilege.
that.
That is coming from a
I
place
was
of
gonna
wild
say,
privilege.
I
You
don't want
know,
to hear if you don't vote, fine, bye. I don't, just don't. I
yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
hear
I
it.
mean, listen, you had a black woman clap at you. That's all I'm saying. That's all
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I'm talking to invisible people now. I'm talking to the invisibles, the ones who are here under the tree with us. It's like once you've had a black
Okay.
woman clap at you, discussion fucking over. Go vote, sit down. That's it. Go vote, sit down. It's over. It's over.
It's just, I'm
And it's
curious as to
so
why they
dumb.
think
It
that's
takes
crazy.
no fucking effort. It's so like, what is the big deal? If you're a fucking radical, if you're gonna go burn down a goddamn building right after this, great. You know what you can use? You can use your receipt from the ballot to start the fire. I give a fuck. I'm on your side.
Right.
It takes 5 minutes. Just do it.
Right. Just do
Jesus.
it.
Just that, how?
I just
Just
see a
do it.
lot. I just see a lot of this talk about because I saw that and I was like, why are you react? You should follow her lead. Shit, if she's doing that, then I'm gonna take her lead because she's seen some shit. She's about it. Okay, so if that's her choice, I'm not criticizing that. I'm gonna follow it.
FBI been on your ass like that? You've been on the top 10 most wanted list.
Thank you.
Fucking vote.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your best friend got shot in the gut and had to move to Cuba. No, go vote.
Right. Right.
Happy birthday, Sojourner.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been talking a long time. We got to let these people get up out of here.
Yeah.
Also, wait, one more thing before fill out your goddamn census card. How many times I got to say it? I've had guests here to talk about it. We had whole shows. What the fuck? Fill out your
Yes.
goddamn census
Yes.
card. And if you're
Yes.
confused and you are a brown person, fill out the brown parts of you. This is about power. This is not about your identity politic and whether or not you want to call yourself Hispanic. I don't give a shit.
Oh,
Fill out
yes,
brown. Fill out all the brown shit. If you
yes.
white and you don't like it and you don't want to be white no more, check that you black. Shit. It gives us more power anyway. I don't give a shit. Fewer white people. Come on. We said 2042 it was about to be the flip. Now it looks like it's 2040, and in the schools it's already happened. So now what? Just fill it out.
Yeah.
Fill it out. This is where we got this is the receipt. Black people always tell you to pull out the receipt. This is the goddamn receipt. So fill it out, please. Ooh, I got riled up. I don't know. You got riled up too. That was fun. Listen, you wrote a book. Will you show it to us and tell us about it, please?
Yes, I wrote. It's a prose poem. I don't know if people can see.
Yes. Ooh, let me get off the screen. I'm gonna give you the screen. Go ahead. That's you.
Okay.
No, that's beautiful. So, I see it.
This fucking body is never yours. It was part of a chapbook contest with Gaze and Grain Press in 2017, and this was the runner-up. And they printed 200 copies. And so I'm not sure if it is still available because right now the press is closed because of COVID. But nevertheless, I'm still going to blow it up because it's mine and it's something I'm proud of. And you can see more of my writing at www.lindachaverswrites.com.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the conversation.
Done by my sister, who is amazing.
What's your name?
Chavers. So my sister is Ren Chavers, non-binary queer artist, whose website, let me just get it out here, is www.notcathy.com. I can send you the note and we could follow up with that, but she did the cover. She's a brilliant artist. So just wanted to plug her for that too.
Gotta get the plugs. I am looking it up right now, but I believe in my head, because we just got asked, that it is mycensus.org. I am looking that up for you right now. My Census 2020. If you need to take the census, that is the resource for you, Teresa, and for the other folks out there. Please get on that, for real. It takes 5 minutes. You know, you do it for you, do it for your family, do it for the 7 generations coming after you. It makes a huge difference. Linda, thank you so much for being here. This has been a great way to start the day. I can't even lie. I needed this so badly.
I'm glad. Thank you for making the time, because I know it's West Coast, East Coast, so thank you.
Listen, that's how we got to do it. That's how we got to do it. We try to make this global. We try to make this global. What it is. Brand growing. We do it big. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. That's been incredible. Folks,
thank you.
Please give it up. Thank you. Dr. Linda Chavers. Come on now. That shit was dope. You know that was dope. Please check out the book.
I tried to the green light. It's so hard.
Nah, you're doing the thing. We sit here, by the way. So keep talking. Do what you're doing. That's fine.
I hate staring at the green light because I feel it's almost like you feel rude. Like the person's talking, and so you're not looking at them. You're looking at this light. So I want to look at your face to respond, but then I'm not looking at the camera.
See, we letting y'all know the secrets now. Because if it was just us, we weren't here. This is how I'd be looking the whole time. That's how I be
Exactly.
looking the
Right.
whole
That's
time. I be
right.
looking right. I be looking at my girl like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?"
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
now because we trying to include everybody, we gotta look at this little
This
green
is
light.
hard. This is
It,
hard to do,
it,
just so folks know. It is something to adjust to. And I'm in multiple Zoom meetings all the time, and it's still like I'm staring at a dot. I'm not looking at Carlos's face. And so
gotta
it's
get,
weird. I don't I want to
I've
look at his
developed
face.
the
Now I'm looking at
sense.
his face.
You have to allow yourself to travel, allow yourself to time travel,
I'm
and get
doing it.
into the actual internet, right? And then it looked like the Matrix. It looked like the end of the Matrix. It's ones and zeros. They
I don't like
falling. They raining. I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it. I
I
don't
like
love it. I don't
feel
love it.
like feel like who's looking back? Like who
Right, 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 right,
who
right.
all than this?
Well, see, that's the thing
I
is
don't like it.
that's how come I got to go in there because otherwise I don't know. I don't know. But we've had friends
All
here.
right.
They've been a blast. They've been having a good time. It seems like. Hey, folks, this has been another episode, another conversation on Smoke and Mirrors. Two notes to my friends who and I love it. I love the feedback. I do say, please provide feedback, right? One of the places that I do love feedback is at the Gmail, which is smoke and mirrors ccb gmail.com. Send up a smoke signal. Let me know what you think. Here's a bit of advice that I got that is sort of a backhanded compliment or a compliment, I think. Um, hey, you're enough. Now, that was in response to the announcement
Wait, what was
of,
wait?
uh,
Can you repeat
oh, just
the
me,
compliment?
just me. You are enough, just me,
Okay.
suggesting that maybe that the conversations that are happening under the philosopher's
Uh,
tree may not be the thing that
oh,
you're looking for. Uh, here's
oh,
here's here's what I have to say to that. Um, One, I like talking to my genius friends. I've told you that. I'm going to keep talking to them. They're my friends. Two, I planted this tree and I like to hang out under it, and you're invited to be here. But three, go fuck yourself. You don't get to determine whether or not I'm going to have
Carlos,
friends here with me. That's not how this goes. And you don't get
I
to
don't
insult
think
my
you were saying it
friends.
like that.
No, 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 no,
Damn.
no, 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 no. Like I don't want to. When if someone come in with some like I don't want to hear guests, I just want to hear you. No, that's not how this
Fair.
goes, and
Fair.
that's not fair. That is extractive because what that ends up meaning is that all I'm doing is this, and you just heard my new friend Linda describe to you what it is to try to do this. This is not the easiest thing in the world.
It's really so
And so you're going to
I
take me
really
for
don't.
5, 6 hours a day, 5, 6 hours a week,
Oh,
just doing this shit with just you in your living
I
room
have
on your phone?
I have
Selfish.
more respect for you for folks who do this full time for years because it's just, I just yeah, actually no, and I'm appreciative because I'm teaching, I'm teaching my course in the fall, and I, I taught in the summer for a little bit. I didn't do the online transition in the spring, so this is good practice because I definitely would otherwise be talking like this to my students. Which I mean, I'm sure they would be fine with it, but I know that this dynamic is better, so
This
I
is
need to practice.
connectedness. This is love. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm giving you my love. If I'm sharing my
Yeah.
friends with you, I'm sharing my love. I'm sharing their love. If I'm sharing folks with you who inform the way that I think, I'm helping you to develop, hopefully, the ability to channel and think some of the things that are the thoughts that have been thunk. I mean, I'm not trying to like push anything down anybody's throat, but if it starts feeling too PBSy, do you know what else? You don't gotta watch.
You can
You
go
don't
fuck
gotta
yourself.
watch. You
That's the
don't
go
gotta
fuck yourself.
watch. I mean, that's the part where I said, go fuck yourself. And I don't mean that like in a way of like, I hate you. I don't hate you. I love you. But do you know what? This culture of we're going to reach out directly to makers and artists and tell them what they should do with their
Oh, okay.
lives and what they should do with their craft. And in particular, what I
Yeah.
need you to do with this hour that you've created, again, for free for funsies during this time of COVID for us to feel a sense of communion together and actually find meaning in a place where there is nothing, which is the whole point of being somebody who lives in the margins, then don't tell me what to do in the margins.
That was excellent. I'm gonna show this part of my. If I do show any of this in my class, that part, because that is so. It's also helpful for me personally because the whole connectedness as someone who I believe you can be someone who is an extrovert and become an introvert, and that's definitely me. So in the beginning of the Rona, I was fine with and still kind of am with the staying at home business, but
Mm.
my I have a good friend who lives alone, and I do take for granted that my mom lives here, and I have a dog, and so there's life, right? There's a life around me. But for my friend who she's also an introvert, but she was saying like this is hard. It's really hard. Just
That's really hard.
constant, just it's hard. That's all. That's how she described it. And so the connectiveness
Yeah.
point, absolutely, is very,
Yeah.
very. This is not natural. It's not natural to be like this all day,
Yeah.
every day of the week for months. It's not.
That's all I'm saying is let's just be kind,
Mm-hmm.
let's just be gentle, let's love each other. And if I invite friends under the tree with us, let's make a little space. Let's make a little space because there's always going to be space for you. Even after I
Thanks
told you to
for
go
having me
fuck
under the
yourself.
tree.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Hey, folks, this has been another episode of Smoke and Mirrors. Thank you so much for being here today. One more time, give it up for little Chavers. There you go. The doctor has been in the house. You know what we do here at the end? This is the part where we start begging, and I am begging you to please, if you've got a doubloon, if you've got a shekel, something to share, please consider sharing that with the Marsha P. Johnson Foundation. I know we are not all in places of secure employment. I know we are all having a hard time. The Marsha P. Johnson Foundation provides places for art making, places for meaning making, and community building for queer communities on the West Coast, for folks who have again lived in and work in the margins. And if you have an extra dollar, if you have an extra five, uh, please consider please consider helping some folks who really are depending on the help and had depended on the kind of help that we're talking about long before Rona happened. And so, as you can imagine, it only gets more complex for the folks who truly do live at the intersection. We need their wisdom, and in order to elevate their wisdom, in order to find our way through this, we have to be able to platform their voices, and the Marsha P. Johnson Foundation does that work. Please do consider giving. It is marshap.org/donate. If you liked this, guess what? It's been Smoke and Mirrors. And as I said, you know what? I do love the feedback. I love being able to interact, even if I disagree. I truly, truly do, because it means we're here together, right? We are here together. And unlike these people who wrote that horrible article that the doctor was referring to earlier in the letter, I welcome the
Got you.
disagreement, and I will interact with it. I will be back and forth with you on that. You can reach out at smokeandmirrorsccb@gmail.com. If you really just love my glorious face, but you don't want to hear it, you want me to shut up, guess what? Find me at IG, El Caballo Negrito. You can also find me in the written form at Twitter at Caballo Negrito. If you did not like the content, I don't think you're going to like that any better, but you're welcome to give it a shot. If you did not want to become a patron, but you did want to put five on it because you came to the tree and you just thought it was worth it, guess what? There's three ways to do it. Venmo, Carlos Dash, Wyndham, Windham, Cash App, $ CK Wyndham, PayPal, /me, CK Wyndham. I got through all of that without tripping on my own tongue. I am very satisfied with that fact. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a good morning. God bless. Do me a favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. and wash your hands, and don't go outside. But if you're going to, for God's sake, please wear a mask. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow talking that shit. Would you say, Linda, one more time?
I said wear a mask.
Wear
Wear
a
a mask.
mask. Wear a goddamn mask. Wear a
All
goddamn
right.
mask. This is so funny. One time, the guests are actually going to watch the show before they're on it, and they're going to see what happens at the end while they're chiming in and piping up and making themselves look presentable and not on screen. I love you. We'll see you next time. Okay, see you tomorrow. I'll be talking that shit. Bye.